There are two kinds of laws. One is temporary laws. Temporary laws are laws that don't last forever. The other is permanent laws. Laws that do last forever. But whenever you have a temporary law, remember this, you always have an eternal truth underneath that temporary law. You always have an eternal truth underneath that temporary law. For example, take Deuteronomy 22, verse 10. In Deuteronomy 22, verse 10, God says, "Thou shalt not plow with an ox and an ass together." An ass is a donkey. Don't put an ox and an ass under the same yoke together. Now that's a temporary law. But do you realize that was just as much a command in Old Testament days as the command, "Thou shalt not steal"? Thou shalt not steal, that's a sin. But if somebody tried to plow with an ox and an ass together, he was sinning. God made it a sin. It's not a sin now to do it, because the law is a temporary law. But there's an eternal truth that's underneath it. I wonder if you see what that eternal truth is. 2 Corinthians 6:14 in the New Testament is evidently referring to that. 2 Corinthians 6:14 says, "Be not unequally yoked with unbelievers." What's the difference between an ox and an ass, a donkey? The difference is that the ox was a clean animal. They could offer the ox in sacrifice to the Lord. It was a clean animal. They could eat oxen meat because it was clean, but they couldn't eat donkey meat. It was unclean. And God is saying, don't put the clean and the unclean under the same yoke together. So you see, that's the eternal truth. The law is temporary. Didn't the sin today if you see somebody plowing with an ox and an ass under the same yoke. But it was a sin then. God made it a sin in order to drive home that eternal truth.